do this with as few layoffs as possible and with cutting and affecting the programs as little as possible. And you know, I'm, you know, pretty. Happy's not the right word, but impressed with what they were able to come up with and bring forward to us.
I think especially when we had our last meeting, we talked about possibilities of maybe like 10 to 15 layoffs. So this
you have to remember that we have, I've got 6 more retirements here, and some of these things
could happen.
Hinge on those retirements.
Right, and that's the other thing. It's a little misleading because it looks like we're not laying off a whole lot, but we are losing how many teachers next year when it comes down to it. I mean, our staff is being reduced. It's just we were able to do it through retirements, which is a nice way to do it, but we still are going to have quite a reduction in staff.
We've been cutting our budget for at least 10 years, and we've always made every attempt not to lose jobs. We've done through attrition. We haven't had to lay off many teachers. We don't like doing that, but sometimes we have to. Yes.
Could you explain how we get from the 2.3 referendum down to $900,000 in cuts? What makes up the difference?
Sure. The part of it is that the carryover that we're using for next year was going to be spread out over the next 4 years.
The carryover is
from the $1.6 million referendum that is expiring at the end of this year. We made sufficient cuts each year along the way, and especially early on, that we were able to have some carryover. And for the coming up referendum, we were going to spread that out over the next 4 years instead of using it all in 1 year. So that's going to eat that up. But this also does affect our programs. And the referendum, the $2.3 million referendum, was to maintain all of our programs. And I cannot tell you that the recommendations that we're going to make are not going to affect our programs, because they are. I mean, we're going to see increased class sizes, we're going to see some reduced offerings, and we're going to see some teachers teaching out of areas that they normally teach. We're going to see, for example, the reduction of one Phi-Ed teacher district-wide. Well, the impact of that will probably be felt most severely at the elementary school, where I will be asking our elementary to double up classes. Instead of having one class in Phi-Ed at a time, I'll be asking them to have 2. That impacts the program, and it impacts how kids learn in Phi-Ed. It may also trickle up to the middle school, because in grades K through 5, actually, K through 6, physical education can be taught under the direction of a certified Phi-Ed teacher. It doesn't have to be taught by a certified Phi-Ed teacher. So if we run short on Phi-Ed time, I may ask middle school teachers to teach Phi-Ed out of their area of certification. It's a possibility. So to say that we're making all of these cuts without impacting programs, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're trying to have a minimal impact, maintaining the programs and hopefully maintaining the quality of the programs that we are able to maintain. So that's where we went from the 2.3.
You also said that there were possible people retiring next year, and those are not put up in your proposal?
No, we will have to rehire some positions.
Okay.
Yes. As odd as it sounds, even though we're looking to cut approximately $900,000, we will have to rehire some positions. Some of our retirements are elementary school teachers, and if we're going to maintain SAGE, we will have to fill those positions. Similar for some places at the middle school that we will have to fill positions. In the back there?
Yes. I like the fact that you said that we'd be able to talk about these further, these programs, because every cut that you're making is going to, as you say, is going to have a big effect. And certainly, this is on the spot. Obviously, we have a couple days to prepare. So, for example, I am Virginia Ellison, I'm a Spanish teacher here. And if a half of the Spanish position is cut, that is going to have a ripple effect, a huge effect on our programs here. For example, right now, this year we have a great deal of kids signing up for advanced levels. That's 4 and 5. So this year we had the most we ever had. We had 36 kids signing up for that class. For Spanish group, we had 40 kids signing up. And if we cut those upper levels, if we cut a lower level, so that, for example, I would have to teach those lower levels, we're not going to be able to have those upper levels, and we're not going to be able to have as many kids coming up to those upper levels. So if we have them, they're very small classes. So it's a big effect. And also, it concerns me that, and maybe this goes out to the community, that our school, we've done just an excellent job preparing our kids for college for what we have here. An excellent job. And truthfully, we really can't compete with schools with areas in suburban Chicago, Minneapolis. They have an awful lot more money and many more programs for our kids. But we really do a good job with what we have. And for example, in what we teach in Spanish, our kids come back from college, they can get retroactive credit in college, get 16 free credits for college for what they've done here. This is an advanced program that really prepares them and saves them a lot of money. If we cut these kinds of things for our kids, we're not preparing them the same way. And as I said, this goes out to the community too, because obviously this referendum that we passed, it really is having a big effect on our kids. And I would like to be able to, present more information on our program and how that would affect us. And I think everybody would, so that you would be able to know how that is affecting the program. And maybe so that the community, or hear from the newspapers, so that the community would know that. That the community knows we cut this. Our kids cannot be as competitive as they have been. They just cannot. In Madison now, the average number of years in foreign language for the students they accept there is 4. If our kids can't have that, they won't be competitive there. And it goes the same for our other advanced classes for college. So I'd be glad to present it another time, more information on that. And then we'll get it all.
Anybody else?
One thing I just want to add is we're always looking at cuts. I want to make sure that the board is looking at things where the school can make money, such as like charter programs. I'd really like to see us look into an avenue where the school can actually make some money instead of always having to do all these cuts and take away from all their programs. So I just want to say that to you guys, so hopefully you'll look into some of that so we can try to make some money.
I mean, the biggest way to improve our budget is to gain students. So we're always looking for ways to add students.
This is kind of heresy, but we're delaying the inevitable here if referendums don't pass. And the year after, next year is okay, but then the year after we're going to have to cut more. And then it goes to me like the third year is when it goes over the cliff.
No, next year. I mean, after next year.
Yeah, or well, you're still going to have some money left over in your slush fund.
We don't have a slush fund, but no, we'll spend almost all of it next year. The following year will be
one that goes over the cliff. I used to live in Minnesota, and the schools were having these kind of problems out in the rural areas, and their solution was consolidation. And the state legislature just told them, here's town A, town B, town C. You're going to put a high school right in the middle of the cornfield, triangulating between them, and if you don't like it, you're going to lose your school district, basically. And it was a tough pill to swallow, but after 10 years, it worked, and people got used to it and whatnot. And obviously, we got a new high school here, so we're not going to build a new high school between here and Shell Lake or anything like that. But it does seem to me that we're going to have to start thinking outside the box on some of this stuff and build a better mousetrap. And I'm just wondering if Spooner's school district or school board has discussed anything with Shell Lake. I